who are working parallel from the ministers. And they came up with this thing called SHA. Yeah? And they said NHIF is bad, there was a lot of fraud, we must reform it and we must change it completely. And this thing was brought and we started interrogating it. Along the way, I started getting fears that this thing was a scheme to rip off the people of Kenya. Yeah? And they proposed that we create a new system that will cost 104 billion Kenya shillings. And I asked William Ruto, my brother, if the board of NHIF is saying they can reform this system at 800 million, why do we need a new system costing about 104 billion? He said, no, we will do it this way. This thing was forced. That's why you had an MP say, we pass SHA for you. This thing was pushed by William Ruto. This 104 billion, Yvonne, is pure theft of public funds. It's the biggest rip-off in the history of the independent Kenya. You know, this system does not exceed 1 billion shillings. 103 billion shillings had been stolen by William Ruto and company. You know? And that is why it is him, because you had the MP saying, we passed you a SHA. Okay? And that is why he was saying when he was in Sagana, explaining why we deferred. Oh, did you ever hear Rigathi deferred the health system? Did you ever hear him defer the education system? Did you ever hear him talking about the housing program? I told him, give me a break. I cannot defend corruption. I said, Mr. President, excuse me, forgive me. I could not help you to defend SHA. This is outright theft of public funds. Now, after stealing 104 billion shillings from Duale and company now, the little money people have been deducted from their salaries, the little money that people are paying for SHA, this money they are sending to non-existent hospitals and stealing it. And this is the money that is doing empowerment programs by Mr. Soprano. This is the money that William Ruto is using to bribe people in State House. Where do you think this money is coming from? I heard him asking the governor of Mandera, not governor of Mandera. He was saying there is a governor who has paid 150 million. Where did he get it from? I want to pose you the question, Mr. William Ruto. This money you are bribing people. This one you have given Soprano to bribe people. Where are you getting it from? This is money for SHA. Now Aden Duale is telling us, and abusing journalists, Yvonne, that we have shut down the hospitals. How do you shut down hospitals that do not exist? Please, these people, the impunity, the kind of contempt they have for the people of Kenya. A minister telling the people of Kenya they have discovered that money is being paid to non-existent hospitals, ghost hospitals. And his reply is that, no, we have shut down those hospitals. Where is the money? What measures has he announced today? If these hospitals were non-existent, if these hospitals were not compliant, and they have been shut because they are not compliant, has he announced how we shall recover this money? I would have expected William Ruto, the new champion of fighting corruption in Kenya, to talk about this. Instead, he's only talking about 10 million, and he's complaining it has not reached the MPs who are his friends. That is his only concern, that 10 million was bribed, it did not reach MPs. William Ruto, why are you not speaking about this 10 billion? By today, in a country of the rule of law, Duale should be at home. You know?
What
and
for?
We are saying,
what for?
He should have been sacked. This is a scandal of unknown magnitude. You have seen today the website for SHA, where the records were, showing who has been paid, has been stepped down, so that you people do not interrogate these hospitals. Because what would have happened? You people are very imaginative. With the list they are showing who has been paid, you would have sent your correspondents all over the country to see whether the hospitals exist. And because they don't exist, that is why they have removed, those details from the website, so that Kenyans do not interrogate, they do not audit the theft of public funds.
And then there is also the affordable housing, again, something else that that you touted. In fact, you were on record as telling everybody that this is something that you should pay up. What changed along the way?
Initially, when I supported this program.
Yes.
You know, William Ruto is very convincing. He's a very convincing guy. And he's very deceptive. Extremely deceptive. He had convinced all of us that this housing program, affordable, was a good thing for Kenya. That it will create employment for our young people, that this program, we need slum upgrading, we need to dignify our people, blah, blah, blah. It sounded very nice. Only to realize later, it's nonsense.
At what point did you make this realization?
After one year. It's when I started seeing what's going on. To start with, when he forced people now to have the housing levy. Because the question people were asking me, and I went and asked him.
What was the idea for you in your mind with this?
Initially, we thought it's a genuine thing. Only to realize that it's about business. That William Ruto has seen a business opportunity to sell cement, to sell steel, and to sell iron sheets. Again, to partner with developers to make money. And for that program to succeed, it needed a source of money. So he had to create a housing levy so that the money is flowing. And this money has been put in Sidan Bank, a bank that he bought immediately we came into office. Okay? Sidan Bank is level 3, is tier 3. According to the central bank regulations, all money belonging to parastatals and governments must be put in tier 1. Tier 1 is Cooperative Bank, Equity, Barclays, those big banks. But he told central bank to allow Sidan to receive money from SHA and also money from housing. So that bank has grown, from a profit of 300 million in 1 year to 1.2 billion.
So I want to understand this. You're saying, so at what point did you realize SHA, according to you, wasn't the idea that you needed?
The first 1 year.
Housing in the first 1 year.
The first 1 year of our administration is where it started becoming very clear to me that this William Ruto was not a genuine man. He had conned us, he was deceptive, and he's a businessman, and he's not interested in the country.
And yet, Mr. Gachua, you stayed and then got impeached, and it is only after your impeachment that you started to speak out about all of these things, about organizing meetings.
I spoke before.
So my question to you is, you say you are not a yes man, and that's why the president doesn't like you. Yes. You say you realized that, SHA and affordable housing had issues with all of these. Were you ever going to say some of these things before you were impeached?
Yes.
Would you have continued to serve in the administration of President William Ruto? I asked you about some of these things a little earlier. You said, well, what could I do? He was president. You could have resigned, Mr. Gachagua, if you have such grave issues.
I couldn't have resigned.
Why not?
The framers of the 2010 Constitution are very wise. Why did they want a president and a deputy elected? So that they can check each other. That's what I was doing. I was checking from inside until a point he couldn't stand it. And he decided to get rid of me. What happened?
Mr. Gachagua, you were not very successful with checking him.
No, I was. Let me tell you. Let me now.
Well, tell us.
That's why I went to cabinet and opposed the finance bill of 2024. I did.
2023?
2024.
Okay.
I said no. And it was put on record. And he was mad with me. And I went in public meetings asking the MPs to listen to the ground. It was a way of checking. Because when you are deputy president and there's a finance bill, and when people ask me, what do you think about this finance bill? I say, listen to the ground. The people did not want it. I told the MPs, listen to the ground. And the president was mad with me. Finally, when it came to cabinet, I went and opposed the demolitions and evictions of Nairobi River. If you remember, it was one of the charges in the Senate against me. I opposed when I was deputy president. I did not oppose when I left office, Yvonne. I opposed when I was in office. And it was a charge of insubordinating the president because of saying no. Our manifesto was clear that we shall never carry out demolitions and evictions until we have settled the people.
Okay.
When the Gen Z protests came, Yvonne, I want to put it on record so that we are speaking from the same page. I opposed abductions and killings. And when the president insisted, and our kids were shot and killed on June 25th, 2024. On the 26th of June, as Deputy President, I called a press conference in Mombasa and castigated President William Ruto and the Director of National Intelligence Service for abductions and extrajudicial killings. I am not doing it because I'm outside, Yvonne. I was doing it from inside. And that is why the president now could not stand it anymore. In fact, it's after my press conference on June 26th is when he made a decision he must get rid of me. And it took him about 4 months. He started putting things into motion. And I told the president, I think it was on June 22nd, when I saw the operation order, what had been planned, the killings, the abductions, I went and I said, Mr. President, I am a parent, you are a parent. I have 2 young boys, you have young children. How can we kill these people simply because they are saying the finance bill is not acceptable? Why can't we listen to them? He said, my friend, you are in government, you do what we are saying. So the subsequent meeting for National Security Council, I was not invited because I would have opposed the operation. So when it happened, on June 25th, the president called a press conference at night. He did not invite me, and he said this was treasonous. These are criminals. They'll pay for it. I was mad because I knew these children were innocent and they were simply clamoring for their rights and the rights of the people of Kenya. And what happened, Yvonne, is that nature abhors vacuum. The minute the president captured parliament, the minute he compromised Raila Odinga, there was nobody else to speak for the people of Kenya. And since nature abhors vacuum, the Gen Z just came up. Because that's the way nature operates. And they started speaking for the people of Kenya. So I made a decision. I flew to Mombasa. I called a press conference. And that marked the end of the relation between me and President William Ruto. We never spoke again. We just pretend we are speaking, but we never met one-to-one. We never spoke on telephone. We were speaking on messages until the day I left office. So you cannot say, Yvonne, that I spoke because I left. I started speaking. For 1 year, I was speaking from inside. And that's why he was accusing me. You know, he was telling me to defend Adani. I told him I will not. He says, go to the TV stations and defend the university model. I said, I will not. Because the thing is not good. You know, I was in a funeral in Kitale. And the Senator for Kisii, Richard Oyonka, really attacked the government because of Adani. And I spoke last. I did not say anything. I talked about other things. I left. And the president's PA called me all manner of names. Wewe ni mujinga sana, you are very stupid. You are deputy president, you spoke last. Somebody has attacked the government and you cannot defend. What kind of a deputy are you? I said, my friend, tell the president to call me and tell him I cannot defend corruption. Adani is corruption, I will not defend. Then he said, utatuona. The rest is history. Yvonne, I am a credible man, I'm a man of honor. And I was prepared to face the consequences of standing with what is right and what is true.
I want us to speak about those protests for a moment and the state of rule of law and order in the country. Since those protests, there have been the abductions, there have been the killings, and there's also now an attempt at charging some of those who are involved in the protests using terror charges in the terror charge sheet. What are your thoughts as to where we are now, the state of the nation now, following the protests, in terms of, you know, the state of the rule of law? There's been talk and questions of having dialogue at this point. What is your thought on the state of rule of law following, you know, everything we've seen with the protests in the country, and what the way forward or the way out of that impasse looks like?
Yvonne, I saw the president gazetting Katiba Day, you know, and I was flabbergasted as to how foolish William Ruto think the people of Kenya are. Katiba Day? He has violated the Constitution from the first chapter to the last one. Freedoms in the Bill of Rights have been taken away from the people of Kenya. These young people who were abducted, they were within their constitutional right to question government. Yet, And I have said many times, when the Gen Z started becoming very vocal, the president authorized the formation of a killer squad of 101 officers from the administration police who are seconded to the National Intelligence Service and given very high-skilled training in abductions, killings, and cover-up. And that is a squad that has caused havoc in this country. And it works under the National Intelligence Service. It was authorized by William Ruto. That is a squad that is responsible for gross violation of human rights. And what is sad, Yvonne, and this matter was raised with me in America, and I heard Akina Wetangula saying I went to talk bad about my country. I never talked bad about my country. I love my country. Kenya is a great country, and I told the people in America as much. But we have poor leadership. We have bad leaders. What is shocking, Yvonne, is after all this, a president who is elected by the people, a country with a constitution, a country that has a very strong Bill of Rights, can publicly issue orders for people to be shot in the leg and then taken to the hospital on their way to jail. It's a level of impunity. And I'm very happy that in the bill in the Senate in America, that issue has been raised. Abductions and extrajudicial killings. Yeah? So, what is happening again when we had the last protest and Sabasaba? The state took over the protest and sent criminal goons to beat people, burn and touch property, and stage manage attack of police stations and courts. It was done by police. And then arrested innocent young people and charged them with terrorism. You know, that court in Kahawa is a specialized court to deal with terrorism, a very serious crime that needs to protect our territorial integrity and make sure that the country is safe. But to make sure that these young people are intimidated and they have no voice and they will never again hold the government to account, they are charged with the terrorism. So as we speak, we are at the lowest in terms of violation of human rights. And that's where the Americans are having a great problem with us. And we have never reached where we are. And the situation is coming from bad to us. And it is laughable that the president, ahead of his address to the United Nations, is going there to the United Nations General Assembly. He is trying to appease the international community because there is a lot of concern about extrajudicial killings and abductions. He is trying to hoodwink the international community by ordering Professor Makau Mutua to set up a team to compensate victims of extrajudicial killings and abductions.
That team has been formally constituted today.
Yeah.
What do you think of the role of that, compensating victims of protests,
I think
and dating as far back?
I think it is good. I think we accept it's good to compensate people. But that should be the tail end. Yeah? We welcome compensation. But let's be decent. Let's not try to hoodwink the international community. Before you compensate victims, you must first accept that there were extrajudicial killings. The president should call a press conference and say, hey, my fellow Kenyans, I accept that there were extrajudicial killings and abductions. And this is wrong, and I apologize to the people of Kenya. And I say pole to the families and the people of Kenya. Number two, I have ordered the disbandment of the killer squad of 101 officers who have been abducting young children and killing Kenyans. Number three, I give an undertaking to the people of Kenya that under my presidency, never again shall we have abductions and extrajudicial killings. Number four, all those officers responsible for killing our young people and abducting them will be prosecuted. Finally, sad as it is, I accept that parents have suffered and they require some compensation. I therefore order a mechanism be put in place to compensate those families. And, Yvonne, government cannot compensate people it has killed. We must give it to another neutral body, like the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. Because what is happening is we have a petition before the ICC. If government identifies these victims, then we will not have witness protection. These victims will not be able to give evidence against William Ruto and the government. So this is a scheme to get to know who are the possible and potential witnesses for cases of crimes against humanity that we are taking to The Hague. So we are saying, if William Ruto is genuine, he must do what I've told you. He must first call a press conference and own up to the killings and the abductions.
All right, before
Two, Yvonne, he must disband that killer squad that has been doing it.
Okay.
And then he must de-gazette that team, pass this responsibility and the funds to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, which is neutral. Because how do you get people who killed your child are the same people who are coming to compensate you? Even in terms of the way you relate. You know, the same person who shot your child is the one saying, oh, Mama, I'm sorry we killed your son. Yeah? Here is 100,000 to compensate you. How does it work? Let us have an independent body, the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, to be able to do it.
I want to talk about, and to switch gears a little bit and, talk about some politics for a moment and maybe go back to your return from the United States. You've been having the, what you call united opposition. Mm-hmm. We didn't see your colleagues at the airport to welcome you back.
They were not supposed to come.
Okay.
This was, I was just coming home. Mm-hmm. And I think when Kipchumba Murkomen threatened to arrest me, my supporters decided to come to the airport to make sure that I'm safe. Mm. It was a family affair. Of course, the government organized to attack me. And those were policemen in civilian, accompanied with guns. They actually wanted to kill me at Pipeline. They took a big boulder and dropped it on my car. I escaped death by a whisker. And I think they wanted to kill me. And what Murkomen should know, that if he had killed me, there will be no country. There will be a civil war. And I don't know whether they know what they are playing around with. This country, where it has reached, people should not have such jokes. Those are jokes that are not good. We have a country. We have a country, Yvonne. And myself, what I did, we were supposed to go through Jogoo Road all the way and greet people in Kamukunji.
Yes.
Me, I'm a very responsible leader. When I assessed the situation, and I realized that a lot of force had been mobilized, policemen in civilians with guns, accompanied by goons with knives and pangas and rocks, and a civilian aircraft with policemen was hovering in the air and coordinating with the civilian officers on the ground, giving them our movement. Like I wanted to pass through express highway. The police blocked me so that I go to where the trap had been set. When I analyzed the situation, I said, let's cancel going to Jogoo, because I don't want people to die in my name. I don't want women to be hurt. Even journalists, your colleagues, ask them, you were with them there. They were beaten. Their cameras were taken. The money was taken from them. They were threatened with the knives. A lot of violence was meted against us, And it is a threat, by the way. Even I heard the minister say, no, we were not aware of their movement. Yet he was saying 2 days before, we have credible intelligence, there will be violence. Of course, he had credible intelligence, there will be violence because they are the ones who are organizing the violence. He was predicting the same violence that he is organizing. So what I'm saying is, when I was away, they were trying to say when Rigathi is out of the country is peaceful. But my team went to Murang'a. They were attacked by police with guns and guns. Again, they went to Gilgil. They were attacked by police and gangs. They went to Subukia. The violence that we have seen against DCP and myself is being carried out by the state. And I must say today, because it's important, I cannot report William Ruto to the police because they are under him. I cannot report the police to themselves. I cannot report Murkomen to the DCI because he is under him. So in the situation that I face with my members, I can only report them to the people of Kenya. You know, sometimes I hear Ruto saying, "Oh, go and write a statement." We write a statement to who? How can you go to report William Ruto to the police? How can you go to report Kipchumba Murkomen to the police? You can only, what I can do in my position is just tell the people of Kenya what is happening.
The National Police Service is independent?
It's not independent because how can it be independent when Murkomen is telling them shoot to kill? When William Ruto is saying shoot in the leg? They are just pretending that they are independent. They are not. That guy called Douglas Kaja, he is from my home. And I told him the other day, you are a potential customer of ICC. Remember what happened to General Ali? William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen will use you. What is happening? I told him, Kaja, he's from my village. One of these days, you'll be in ICC. I want to tell these county commanders in Nairobi and elsewhere that we have set up a team to document all these violent activities. We have, like now what happened in Nairobi, we have documented it. The county commander, Nairobi, the sub-county commander, Embakasi, when we form government, they'll have to answer. Because why are they allowing police and goons to attack people? The county commander, Muranga, the sub-county commander, Kegumo, the sub-county commander, Gilgil, Subukia, we are documenting all these excesses. When this administration goes, and it will go, I want to assure you, there's a new administration. You will be held to account. So, and what happened in Central Police Station is a living example and testimony. The DIG Langat told people to torture Albert Ojwang. DIG has been absolved from blame. He's going back to work this week. The OCS, Central Police Station, the sergeant on duty, the corporal on duty are facing murder charges. I want to use this opportunity tonight to talk to our police officers. I want to talk to you as a father, as a leader in this country. Please stop being misused by William Ruto and Murkomen to do a lot of things because you'll answer. I want to ask our policemen to always be guided by 4 documents in the pursuit, in the course of their duty. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Penal Code Chapter 6.3, the Criminal Procedure Code Cap 7.5, and the Evidence Act Cap 8.0. With those 4 documents, you can hold your ground. And even if your senior tells you to do something that is not covered by those 4 documents, you can stand your ground.
Okay.
But I want to say, if the government has decided to stop the one-term movement, they want to assassinate Rigathi Gachua by using police in civilians and then blame it on goons, because I can see the pattern. What they have done, Yvonne, if you allow me, I have been attacked now 7 times. In November 2024, I was attacked by goons covered by police in Limuru. Up to today, nobody has ever been arrested. On 28th December, I was attacked by a police officer in Shamata. Nobody has ever been arrested. On 6th April, I was attacked by goons and police in the Mweki, inside a PCA church. Nobody has ever been arrested. You know? Another day, I was attacked somewhere else. Now, I was attacked at the airport. What I can see, I was analyzing here with security experts yesterday, is that the government want to set up a thread where that Rigathi Gachua is always attacked by goons, so that one day, police in civilian can shoot him dead, and then say it's the goons, and then order an investigation to arrest the goons when he is dead. What I want to tell them is, and I want to be very cautious, I want to say, it's important I say, because I have seen the trend of what is happening. I want to tell William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen, please, don't burn this country. This is our country, we have no other.
Okay.
Let us be careful. Don't do stupid things.
Okay.
Yeah, thinking that you are stopping the one-term movement. Yeah, and create some more in this country. Please. All right.
Don't. We will also talk about that one-term movement. in a moment, but there was something you said a little earlier, that when we form government, you were giving a message to the police. Let's talk about that now. In the United Kenya opposition, some of your supporters have been saying that of all the aspirants, you are best placed to run for president. Mr. Gachua, can you confirm to us tonight if this is something that you are doing? Are you interested in running for president of the Republic of Kenya?
What a question, Yvonne. Am I interested? Why not? I am a candidate to be president of the Republic of Kenya. I am qualified. I have support. I am looking for more support. And I'll be on the ballot as a candidate for president.
Let's talk about you being on the ballot. How will that happen with your impeachment?
What do you mean? William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta had charges against him, crimes against humanity. In The Hague, he was elected as president.
They were not convicted. They were facing charges at the ICC.
Nobody has been convicted.
Do you think that's a fair comparison?
Yes,
the charges they were facing at the ICC?
What the Constitution of Kenya says. What the Constitution of Kenya says. What I just want to tell you what it is.
Yeah, for a moment. Can I ask the question?
Okay.
Okay. Do you think it's a fair comparison that they were facing charges at the ICC, facing charges? You, on the other hand, based on the laws of this country, faced charges at the Senate and were found guilty of some, not all, but enough to impeach you as deputy president.
John Weluke, the MP for Sirisia, was convicted and jailed for 74 years, okay, before the elections. Okay, he filed an appeal before the High Court. When the elections came, the law is very clear that the Constitution guarantees your right to vie for elective office, even if you have been convicted, if you have not exhausted the remedies available in law. Okay? Rigathi Gachua has a matter before the High Court. It has not even been heard. It needs to go to the High Court, Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, until the Supreme Court says Rigathi Gachua was impeached properly.
And if that happens, if the Supreme Court,
I'm saying if the Supreme,
and that's what I'm saying.
If it says yes,
if you go all the way,
that's what I'm saying.
And the Supreme Court says upholds your impeachment.
If it does, yes. If the Supreme Court opposes my impeachment, then I cannot run.
Okay.
It has not. The High Court has not. The Court of Appeal has not. Until that has happened, Rigathi Gachua remains free to vie for office. And I don't want to discuss matters before court, but even the judges will take judicial notice of what is going on and how this guy called Rigathi was impeached. You know, the things are there. I don't want. That's what I'm saying.
Because I don't want us to.
But you see, you are the one. You are the one who brought things that were before the Senate. Here, those speeches were before the Senate.
No.
I was tried on the same issue, so you are trying me the second time.
No. Those speeches were not as a result of the Senate. They were as a result of what you had said before.
They were there.
They were at the Senate.
You were trying me a second time.
Was I trying you a second time?
Because you were asking me to make comments on matters I've already made comments before.
No, we're holding you to account for statements that you make, Mr. Rigathi.
Before I exhaust all the remedies available to me by law, and you know the law is very good. It gives somebody enough remedies so that you get fairness. Fairness,
okay.
Let me tell you what they say in law. They say it is okay for a guilty person to be freed, but it's unacceptable for an innocent man to be jailed.
And we shall wait to see what the court say about that.
That's why there are four mechanisms.
Okay, I want us to leave it at that.
Yes.
And we wait to see what happens in the court of law and how far you take the process. But I want to hear your views on your other colleagues in the United Opposition who've also expressed interest in the top seat. What are your thoughts on Kalonzo Musyoka, the party leader of Wiper Democratic?
He's a good man. He's a good leader. And he has the capacity to lead this country. Yeah. If I'm not chosen to be the flag bearer for whatever reason, I would have no issue, absolutely none, in supporting him to be president.
What of Ms. Martha Karua?
Same. Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Fred Matiang'i, Eugene Wamalwa are all competent and capable leaders who can give good leadership to this country. And when we agree, because we have agreed that along the way, all the contenders will have to sit down and agree on one to be our flag bearer. I pray and hope that I'll be one, because I think I have the drive and the strategies and the numbers. And knowing William Ruto, because I know him well, I think I'm the guy who is best suited to take this guy home.
Is unity possible?
So in case,
Is unity possible?
It's not.
Or will we see everyone pulling in their own direction?
It's a must. We have no choice. The people of Kenya have told us, in no uncertain term, they don't care who. They want one candidate to face William Ruto. We have a responsibility to restore this country. We have a responsibility to bring an end to extrajudicial killings and abductions. We have a responsibility to bring an end to corruption and misappropriation of public funds. And that can only happen when William Ruto is one term. And for that to happen, we need to produce one candidate to face him. Kenyans will not forgive any one of us, any one of us who plays around with that unity. And I can tell you, all of us have committed, and I will be persuading my colleagues that we publicly sign a pact with the people of Kenya, committing that all of us, each one of us will support whoever is picked, and none of us will go astray. So that whoever goes astray, will be a traitor to the Kenyan cause. So there will be unity, there will be one candidate, and I believe and I trust that candidate is the man seated opposite you tonight.
Let's talk about that election that would, the general election in 2027. We now have a fully constituted Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission. What are your thoughts around the commission? Are you confident that they have the capability and the capacity to run a free and fair process? And we'll come back and talk about the by-elections in a moment, but I just want your first thoughts on the commission, the new commission.
I am not very happy with the way it was picked, but nevertheless, it's in place.
What weren't you happy with?
Because there wasn't, I could see there was some consultation between Raila Odinga and William Ruto who were on the same side. And therefore, there was no concurrence with other people. But be as it may, the way I understand the Kenyan politics, and by the way, I'm a student of political science, and I've been around for a while in all these elections. I did my vast voting, I think, in 1979, and I participated in all these elections. And when electoral laws were changed such that votes are counted at the polling station, and the ruling by the Supreme Court in 2013 that polling station results are final, it made rigging of elections next to impossible. I want to assure the people of Kenya that nobody can steal our elections. And all we ask the IBC commissioners is to fast track and hasten voter registration and do good preparation for the general election and make sure that they make all the materials available and they put all the logistics that are required into place. And that is their role. The rest they leave it to Kenyans. Kenyans will wake up early and they will make a decisive decision. And I don't think anybody will interfere with the will of the people.
All right. Before the general election, there are some by-elections that are coming up. Is DCP planning to field candidates?
Yeah. DCP is a national party and will participate in our elections, including Banisa in Mandera.
Yeah.
All that talk you saw in Mandera was trying to discredit me and DCP in Banisa because our candidate, Adan Mohammed, is a leading candidate. And the people of Banisa want to elect a DCP candidate because they want somebody who can speak for them. Because UDA people are praise and worship choir members of William Ruto. And we have a candidate in Bere North. We have a candidate in Magarini. We have a candidate in Malava. We have several wards across the country. We have a constituency in Abuja, in Siaya. We are going to have candidates in all those elections, and we are going to put up a hard fight. Yeah.
President Ruto has pushed back on your campaign, your one-term campaign, saying your only interest is to remove him from office, and that you're not offering an alternative.
Of course,
he's on record as saying, okay, so 1 term, then what? Do you think he raises a valid point about you actually offering an alternative beyond the slogan, 1 term?
Vaughn, did you expect William Ruto to give us a hug for wanting to remove him from office? Of course, he can't give us a hug. He knows 1 term is lethal. And he's complaining about slogan gearing. He's calling it slogans. Mm-hmm. His people are trying slogans of 2 term. What we are saying is, Yvonne, if you go to hospital and you are feeling unwell, the doctor must do some diagnosis and decide what is the problem. And if they find you have a bacteria infection, and that bacteria has caused so many other problems, the doctor first fights with the bacteria so that you can deal with the other resultant issues. What we are saying, and we are very clear in our mind, is that where we are as a country, for abductions and extrajudicial killings to come to an end, William Ruto must leave office. For us to stop corruption and theft of public resources, William Ruto must leave office. We are saying for us to restore our economy and create a good environment for business, William Ruto must go home. We are saying for us to bring an end to state capture, William Ruto should not be in office. For us to restore the health system and do away with this SHA nonsense, he must be out of office. We are saying for us to restore our education system, bring back free primary education, make sure there is capitation, William Ruto must leave office. That is where the 1 term thing comes from. That before we can even make the changes that we desire, the first thing is for him to exit. And that is why he's complaining and asking us for an alternative. We have very many alternatives. We have a very good program for healthcare, that we need to reform the NHIF the way it was and make sure that people have healthcare. We have a very good program to encourage agriculture, including in northern Kenya in terms of irrigation. Yeah, we've got a very, very good program on how to create a conducive business environment for people to trade. We have got very good ideas on how to deal with the public debt. We have all those very good ideas, and they'll be coming up in our manifesto. But we are saying for all those things to happen, yeah, Ruto must leave the scene, and it is not our business to make him happy. By the way, we are not in the business of making him comfortable. We shouldn't do what he wants. Why does he want to set the agenda for us? And he is asking us to give us our plan. We are not going to give him. Yeah, and by the way, we had a good plan. We just need to improve it. If the plan we had, the one he had given us, was implemented, we will be in a good place. There are very many good plans, but they require implementation. But it's not for him to set agenda for us. It's not him to tell us what is our plan. It is not him to tell us what is our agenda. He has his agenda of stealing public funds. He has agenda of abducting children and killing them. Let him continue with what he's doing, as we have our own plan, and we'll implement it at the right time. But for us to achieve all those things, we must mobilize the people of Kenya to send him home.
Mr. Gachua, as we wind up our conversation here, what do you say to Kenyans, some on social media even tonight, who in response to this interview that we've had, say that you are merely a bitter person whose only interest is to exercise revenge from a man who you say has punished you, that everything you're doing, including the movement that you've just spoken about, is not necessarily about the country, but it's about you getting your pound of flesh against your impeachment, against the president with whom you have now fallen out with, that this is just about revenge between 2 men.
Wow.
And is not the interests of the country and Kenyans at heart? I
don't think stopping abductions is revenge. I think it's the right thing. I don't think saying there should be no extrajudicial killings is revenge. I think it's humanity. I don't think stopping corruption is revenge. I think it's morality. I don't think stopping capturing of independent institutions is revenge. I think it's good governance. I am not interested in any revenge. I am interested in good governance. I'm interested in having a country that is working. I'm interested in having a happy population. I'm interested in having people going to hospital and getting drugs. I'm interested in having a country where children can access education. I don't think those things are anything to do with revenge. All I am saying is that for us that to happen, this man needs to exit. It's not revenge, it's necessity. It's necessity. It has nothing to do with revenge. I'm not a vengeful person, and I'm not interested. And I have nothing against William Ruto as a person. But I have a big problem with killing children. I have a big problem with corruption. I have a big problem with theft of public funds. Like now they want to buy Kenya Pipeline. You know, Yvonne, surely, this pipeline is worth 600 billion. They want to buy it for 100 billion. And that is Ruto and his people. You know? I mean, these are things that we cannot accept. How do you call that revenge? We are simply patriots, people who must stand up for the people of Kenya. Here in Rongai, Yvonne, the community gave 158 acres of land to the PCA church many years back to hold in trust for community, for public amenities. The PCA church have been doing it. William Ruto has gone there and without any public participation, without talking to the church, hived 40 acres to put up 2,000 units of affordable housing. And it's not even affordable housing, they are commercial houses by private developers. We cannot accept that. His own family, they have gone there. They want to put up a private stadium, one of his sons. We cannot accept that. How do you call that revenge? I am simply a courageous leader who is standing up for the people of Kenya. And not many people are courageous. Let me tell you, Yvonne, what I have undergone myself, the humiliation, the persecution, the brutal attacks by police and goons, not many people can stand it. You know, I'm a man of a kind, but I've decided to do it for my country. And not for my community, for my country. Because somebody must do it. Somebody must stand out and say, no, this is not acceptable. You know, and since now Raila was compromised, Parliament has been captured, Senate has been captured, some character somewhere must stand up and say, no, we must stand up for the people of Kenya. That is what I'm doing.
A closing statement from you, Mr. Gachua?
Yeah.
Your closing thoughts?
I want to say I have seen our sugar factories in Western Kenya, Nzoia, Mumias, Chemil. They have all been leased. People have been rendered redundancy, and the sugar industry has collapsed. Bomas of Kenya has been leased to some Asians, you know, and Bomas of Kenya is a cultural heritage. Now we are giving it to Asians to run our own culture. You know, everything is being leased. And when you ask William Ruto, he say, because of mismanagement, we must lease everything to people who can manage them properly for a profit. What I want to ask my brother William Ruto, if the solution to mismanagement is leasing, since you have mismanaged Kenya, please advertise for the leasing of Kenya for the next 2 years. We get some people to lease Kenya because you are saying that is a solution. And finally, let me say this, Yvonne, I want to thank you and the media for what you are doing for Kenya, and you must continue. I want to acknowledge our TikTokers. They have become a powerful tool of communication in this country. I saw the other day Kipchumba Murkomen threatening our TikTokers that they should not push what I say. The TikTokers don't push anything from anybody, they push content. If you are saying something that is sensible and something that they think the people of Kenya need to know, they do it. So I want to thank our influencers, our TikTokers, our media for education, and you must continue doing it, you know. And I want, like now, please find out, I am told the Kenya School of Government, yeah, they also want to listen to some people from Dutch to do some housing. That's a very important institution for our governance. So all these things, the media must stay on top of things. You must be patriotic and you must go out of your way to call out this government, because with the kind of impunity, unless the media brings out these things, both the normal media, the mainstream media, and the social media and the influencers, and working together with leaders like ourselves, I think we'll liberate our country, because we have a duty to preserve our country, because we have no other country than this one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rigathi Gachua, for speaking with us on The Explainer tonight, for your time and your insights. We thank you. Let's take a short break here on The Explainer. We're back with the day's sports news.
I love you, Lord.
This August, guess who's coming to